information. How big of a sign advertising Dunkin' Donuts is there?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how big that is. I mean, whatever.
Is it larger, is it smaller than this one? Must be, huh?
I'm not sure. Again, whatever size it's there right now is the size that we're looking at putting there as
Oh,
well.
okay,
too.
okay.
It'll be the same size.
It's 32 square in place.
And there's also measurements there too.
24,
It could be 64 square foot, right?
that's correct.
Yeah.
And they got 24 and roughly
It will not be bigger than what's
14.
there right now. It can't.
So
be.
they're well under the 64 for the building.
What size on the building?
This is 24 and that's 14, so 38, 40, a little bit, probably just about 40, yeah, maybe not even that. So they're good.
And you have a current lease with the owner?
Yes. And the one thing that I didn't mention the first planning board meeting I was here, but it was brought up to the historical commission and they were okay with it, was this right here is the speaker post that for the drive-through menu board. It would actually go in front of it. And this is pretty much what it would look like. The customer would drive up, that's the speaker right there. It also says here the clearance, just to make sure that nobody hits the drive-through
You're gonna guarantee
drive-through
that?
awning. I'm not gonna guarantee it, but when they do hit it, it's actually on a spring that it'll actually
Oh,
do
it
some,
is?
it'll do
Oh,
like a
that's
siren
unique.
type thing, just say, hey, you know, yeah, don't hit us, please, yeah. And then also, because my concern to them was, because they did ask if I was gonna add any new lighting. The only new lighting is, again, it's right underneath here, there's 4 LED lights shooting down, and they were okay with that because it's shooting down again, so.
And then you got a,
Where these lights are actually gonna be, on this
It's
post?
right on this post, yeah, aiming down at the vehicle.
So that post is this wide?
Yes, yes. Again, it serves for multi-purposes, again, for the lighting and also when it does rain, when you're at the speaker.
oh, so this is the menu
you're not
board
getting
right
water.
underneath it?
No, the menu board will be right over here.
Oh, okay.
This is
Oh, that's just
this
the
is the
speaker,
speaker
okay,
post, yeah,
okay.
speaker post, and then, again, it's like 3 things in one.
Want to look at it?
So whatever changed, I know you asked for the
Yeah, okay, that's-
measurement
that's
for the
the board, yeah,
sign, that's
okay.
the menu board, yeah. And they were okay with me moving the drive-through canopy that's there right now, move it over as well too, they were okay with that as well.
The roof, the brick facade, everything stays the same?
Stays
as
exactly the
original?
same, yeah, so pretty much what you're looking at, I'm looking, the owner of the building is going to be changing the roof on it, same, it'll be the same exact thing. I'm looking at replacing the windows, it's gonna look exactly the same thing, just newer.
Are you moving the location of anything, windows?
No, the windows stay exactly the same. If, the side of the drive-through, there is a small window that's there right now, it's got an AC unit, that right there, that's existing there right now. I'm looking at capping that, so I'm looking at putting brick over there.
Okay, but you actually are putting in a new window.
You're moving the
No,
drive.
I'm just moving this, moving it to over here, so I'm moving this whole thing with the window right
Yeah,
here.
that's just, you are moving the drive over to here.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
okay, but this
But I'm
is-
not adding an additional though,
So this will become a solid wall?
that's correct.
Okay, there it is, I'm sorry, there it is, okay.
And there is the new,
So that's where you got that little window in that
Yeah,
location?
this is
right there.
this is existing,
That's where the little
Yes.
window is?
AC unit is, and that's gonna be blocked up, and then this is going down. Okay, yeah, that's what he said
Yeah.
last time, yep.
the existing AC unit that's there right now is, it's not working, so we're looking at replacing the whole thing. And right now, I think there's one AC unit condenser that's up front, another one in the back of the unit, so we're looking at having everything in the back, so it's not in the front. Here's the letters. The letters. Let me look at the letter. I just have the letter. The letters are the same. From the historical commission is of the approval.
There.
Oh, I'm sorry, right over here, right over here.
Okay.
Did it make you change anything?
They did not, no, the only concern they had was the pylon sign, to see if I'd be able to not have it interior eliminated. I did take it back to Duncan like they asked, and Duncan's did prefer just to leave it the way it was. That was the only change, well, I'm sorry, really, the only concern they had, but everything
Are
else.
these
they
our
were-
drawings?
they were okay. It could be yours if you'd like to.
Also, Mr. Dwyer will tell you what he needs.
So what I would like, do you have this electronically?
I do, yeah, you did say to get a PDF. like,
Yeah, email it
download.
to the planning@hadleyma.org. And what I'll do is I'll attach it to the letter.
Okay.
And I'll just need you to fill in address there, but let me make the motion. So I'll make a motion to waive site plan approval for the move of Dunkin' Donuts into the Donut Man site based upon a determination this proposed work constitutes no external enlargement of the existing floor area. The building sign will be externally illuminated. The pylon sign will match the existing size, and the drive-up window will be moved. That's the motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
So
Good luck.
if you would
Thank you
just
very much, Howard.
fill in contact information
Okay.
there.
You
You
could-
giving people free samples when you open up?
We will, yeah.
That's what we like to
you can
hear.
have it
What
back
is,
in
what
your
are
seat.
the, what is the
Okay,
ethics
okay. And this is your
requirements so we
Yes,
can
okay.
take gifts up to 50 bucks?
Mr. Garrity.
Mine is a quick signature item. This is the marina additional building for Smith College
Yep.
that we brought in about a year and a half ago. And the instructions are to add your decision onto the plans, so we need the,
Oh, this is just the signature of the final plan then?
right.
Okay.
What's that? What's the removal?
Yeah, this is the one, this is the addition they put on last year.
Well, no, this
Yep.
hasn't gone to construction yet.
Oh, it's gone into, oh, that's right. This was the new building over
Yes.
down here.
This
That's
is
right,
gonna
I'm
go to
sorry.
construction within a month or so.
Okay.
So if you have the special pen, or I have one.
What are you doing here? You're knocking this whole existing building out?
Yes. And this is the
That's the block
footprint, this is the
building,
footprint of the new building.
Right. Yeah, we
That's the
approved.
one that is
Are
valuable.
you- are you keeping anything in what he
The
did?
front portion.
That's, that's a remaining.
Thanks.
You acted on this in,
I'd say about a year ago.
about a year, almost a year and a half,
Okay.
2015.
No, that's just administrative. It's just following the condition of the site plan approval.
And if you sign this one, Jim, you can keep this one for your records. And then I can bring that back to you. There you go. You can fold that one up.
That one's mine, and that one's yours.
Make sure, that's my transmittal letter to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Next up is Barry Roberts.
Thank you. I'm here to speak to you about East Street Commons, the 55 and over project that I'm doing off East Street. I think you're all aware of that. When we came to the planning board originally to get the approval of that, I made a mistake, I believe, in not asking you for a waiver of the setback on the southerly boundary. I asked you for a waiver of the setback requirement on the northerly boundary. And we're finding as we put the project, it's symmetrical. And we're bumping up against, I can show you here, that with the commons in the center, the buildings are lined up basically the same. And with a 40-foot setback here, we're bumping right up against trying to site the building. So I would like to ask you to consider a waiver on this south side, the same as you did on the north side.
How much is that?
What's that?
How much was that?
13.
13 foot set, rear yard,
Side
hmm?
yard,
Side.
side yard.
Side yard.
I mean, if you're looking at the property in relation to
Okay,
East Street.
but it's the rear of those buildings.
Correct.
Correct. Along
No,
the bike trail, it's
this is East Street.
This
Correct.
is East Street.
This is stands right over here approximately. This is, whose property is
Pliska's
that?
there, right? Pliska's your neighbor, to the south.
Yes.
Okay.
So, as we know, this was all, treed because of the bike path. So, it's all, I don't know if I need your approval to do this, but within this setback area, I would like to create a berm that I can landscape because to give some privacy to here and to here. So, I don't know if I need your approval to do that, but I would like to show you what I intend to do.
91.
So I had John Kuhn just draw the idea of what we do for a berm. We just, on the backside, the neighbor's side, we mow that, keep that mowed. And on this side, near the houses, we put some shrubbery and stuff to try to create a separation between ourselves and the neighbor.
So you want to go down from 15 feet to,
Yeah, so I think at the time
We
of
were
the
interpreting
permitting,
it as 40.
it was under the previous zoning bylaw before last fall town meeting, which modified, I think it's 27.6.5.2, which had like, I think a 50-foot, 75-foot front yard and maybe 50-foot side yard. So the original approval was a waiver down to 40 feet here and to 13 feet here. You subsequently
Okay.
changed your zoning bylaw, I believe, to relate back to 4.2, the dimensional table, which is the 15-foot side yard. So I guess essentially what we'd be asking for is,
I don't think we changed this part though, did we?
We did not change the rear yard at the last town meeting, no.
okay, if that is rear yard, then we would be requesting a waiver down to 13 feet.
So what we did at the town meeting was to actually correct an error in the tables of setback.
Okay.
But this has its own internal setback requirement,
Okay.
so I don't think we changed this.
Okay.
So I guess then we would ask you.
For a waiver from those setbacks down to 13 feet.
So we're going from 40 feet to 13 feet? Does it have to be that much?
Well,
I mean, I know that's what you're requesting. I'm just wondering, I'm just asking a question. Because the bike path is on one side, but it wasn't a big deal.
Bike path is here, right? Here.
Yeah, on that side.
Right.
farmland, and then, Auto Express, the back of it, I forget.
Yeah, I'm not
exactly
worried about
what it
Auto Express, I'm not worried about that. It's the one home up here that I'm more,
But
is.
this
These
is
are
all
already
wooded.
set.
This is all wooded, that's why I don't start to burn till that's this house. This is all, arborvitae's that this person had planted.
well, aren't these houses already here?
I put these houses up now,
This one,
not this one,
not this one.
this one, and I'm working on this one.
So these are already set back
I set this, right.
at 40 feet.
And that's when I found out I had, the real problem.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we understand. This house, this one's not here.
That's right.
This is, this.
Well, this doesn't comply anyways because you allowed me to set it on the existing footprint of the house we tore down.
Right, okay,
These two.
right.
So they don't comply, right?
This one isn't here,
Right,
this one is,
correct.
and
This one.
this one is.
But like this fellow here requested a sunroom right here,
Yep.
you can't do it, because I'm 2 foot off.
How far, what is this distance about? 50 feet. 1 inch is 50. Right, 50 foot. There's 50. Okay, 1 inch is 50. So from the, this is the road, Ryan? That's the property?
line. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So this house is back 320 feet, 310 feet more or less. And this house here is right about here, right?
It's right here,
Right about here.
across from this.
Okay,
That's the Pliska house.
okay. I would,
This is all as you know,
Right.
scrubbed already.
Right, I understand. So I would, this is my request, we can, this is negotiable, obviously. Put this house in line with,
I don't have any problem with that at all.
and then this house is set back far, that you could give the the person, I would think, their sunroom, and the rest of these set back 13 feet. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
I would need this one to be.
I know, that's what I mean, I said, this one could be set back.
That would be perfect. We could. work-
So these first, I'm gonna call the first 4,
Right,
set back the 40 feet, and all the rest can be 13.
those ones.
Okay.
These 3 already, 4 are, and I'm happy to set that one.
And then,
These are all in already, right?
Right.
no, this
that's not
one,
bad.
this one he wants to add a sunroom, which would bring it back probably within 13 feet.
So what the hell is that gonna hurt?
That's what I'm saying, because it's already, this house is over here, it's not gonna be really impacting that property
Right.
hardly. Okay, I'm good with that,
So what's the number, 13?
13 feet.
13 feet. Are these numbered?
The house number.
Yeah, these are odd side of the street, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
So 1, 3, 5, 7, setback 40 feet. And the rest, 7 through whatever, 13 feet.
Thank you.
All the rest of the proposed housing throughout the project
On the south side.
on the south side
Right,
can go up to 13 feet.
from the property.
Is that what you want?
Yes, with the berm, with a landscape berm.
This is one of the situations where we have the ability to waive the regulations of setback incorporated into the bylaws, so we do have some.
I was just gonna ask that, I was gonna just ask that question,
In the
thank
planning
you.
board, and then in
Thank
fact,
you.
there's a typographical error. We'll blame the Pioneer Valley for that, but the planning board may waive any or all dimensional requirements in the judgment
He's
of the board.
Just for your information also, Barry, we're working on, hopefully this fall town meeting, trying to bring something forward about this
Inclusionary.
inclusionary zoning, so that, to put the money into a fund and trying to take the response, because we realize what a disaster this is causing, and that wasn't the intention. We had no idea what this entailed. So the TDR goes into a fund. We'd like to do something where you could simply put something to a fund, move on, and then you are, okay, you're all set, okay?
That would be great. How, is it possible to waive condition, what is it, Tom?
7D.
I mean, I'm perfectly happy to do,
I understand that, and,
7D's got me locked in here.
right.
So how do we resolve that?
Well, you're not ready for any COs, are you yet?
Till July, end of July? for
Okay.
this one?
Okay. We're not quite ready to say we're gonna be ready for this fall. We're gonna try for it.
Okay.
So why don't you come back to see us maybe like beginning of July, months from now, and see where we stand, and hopefully we'll have something.
Mid-July.
Mid-July. Oh, that's right, 4th of July, so we won't be here. Mid-July. And we'll hopefully at least have a plan to be going forward for the town meeting. And, because as part of the original the original inclusionary zoning, there was a provision for the funding. And we simply took that out. We have all the wording, we just need to get the fine details for the actual funding itself. And once that's done, we should really you'll be a much happier person.
Yeah, it'll make it a lot easier, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's reasonable, and we can work with that.
okay.
I just wanted to mention that I went to the Memorial Day Parade with my wife, and Mr. Roberts was a participant in that parade, and I think you should be commended for participating in town affairs like that. And that's
In the Hadley
that's
Parade?
very impressive.
What did he do?
That's
I walked
impressive.
and somebody else drove my horses.
Really?
Yeah.
You weren't driving your own team?
No,
Oh,
I was
okay.
walking beside him. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, good. Mr. Roberts. Mark Darnold.
Two things. One, historic park.
Oh, boy.
We talked to you all about the park,
Yep,
and what we'd like to do is make official submission tonight. We had previously shown a little amphitheater area that has been removed. The parking lot has been slightly decreased. So it's the same project that we informally presented to you before. We'd just like to schedule a hearing, if it's possible.
I'm not sure that's possible. Here's some old things people might have had in my briefcase. We had a letter from, I believe was the park commissioners or somebody, saying that they had not agreed to give up Zaterica Park.
No, that's not what, I don't think that's what it meant. What it meant was, I think it was for the ZBA, they were saying the Zaterka Park has not been discontinued. It is an active park, and therefore they don't need ZBA approval for the expansion,
Okay,
which I think the ZBA agreed with.
okay, that's what that was?
I think so.
I'm just a messenger. I'm here for another reason. They knew they were coming to submit plans, so I'm dropping
Well,
what they meant.
you're here for another reason, but it's the same project, right?
I have another project I'll talk to you tonight too about.
Well, which one do you wanna talk about? The
This
other
one right now, this one.
Okay, that's good.
Well, we can schedule this.
Schedule and if there's some.
And the problems come up, the problems come up.
Correct.
Okay. So,
I'll make a motion to waive the filing fee,
okay.
other than the newspaper bill.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, did we vote for Barry Roberts setback? We made a motion, but we didn't vote.
Oh, that's right.
Okay,
Good
that's
point.
right, Yeah.
Yes,
We didn't vote for you,
No, I just heard that.
right?
yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to reduce the setback to 13 feet from lot 7 to the rear of the property.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously. Yes.
Okay,
Good point, John. Thank you.
okay, so go back to the motion to waive the filing fee other than the newspaper advertising for Zaterka Park.
Good motion? Good motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So we want to schedule that for July 18. July 18, good for everybody? Everybody out?
Yep.
Nope, that's, so we're having a public hearing for, oh, you're gonna put 2 pavilions in there? Is that the way that is?
Pavilion here.
What's the purpose of that?
Pavilion here. Where's the second one?
We have the small picnic table. The,
Well, one's 600 square feet, one's 500 square feet.
Wasn't that part of
30
that?
by 40, that's 120.
120 square feet.
That's
1,200
1,200. That's
square.
1,200.
Wasn't that arena, they had something? in
They
there?
took the arena
Originally
out.
was that we had the, they had
Thing
the-
of-
Didn't they have a building there or something?
yeah, that was
They-
taken away.
That says future, future, future. Picnic tables, litter receptacle. Picnic tables don't qualify. They've only got, I mean, it's like half this building is pavilion pad, 30 by 40.
So it's a pad.
Okay, that's 1,200. That's 1,130. But they act like they put it in there like it's 2 separate pavilions. So where's the pavilions? Especially when it says future. Can we shoot the messenger? That's all details.
Pavilions must have been
That's just
taken
the
out. I think that
drainage.
The application must be poorly worded. as a pavilion pad there
Okay,
for future phase.
Okay.
all right.
Well,
So
it'll
you,
come out at the hearing.
you get one set of the plans to the town clerk.
Correct.
And,
So what are you doing with that, Jimmy? Just making a note of it?
Yeah. Public hearing, 7/18.
so this has to go to the town clerk, but so she has to know the fee's been waived.
Yes. Okay.
And I got one more question for you. Back on May 2nd, we submitted plans for the Mannings at the Hadley Village Barn Shops.
Yep.
And at the time, I neglected to ask the question as to whether or not the board was going to require peer review. The project, the building, proposed building meets all setback requirements. It decreases the area of impervious and drainage has not changed.
Where's this gonna go on?
This is
Vi-
Russell Street.
Village
This is
Barn
the
Shops.
barn
Oh,
shops.
okay, okay.
The new Manning's up in front, so stormwater is decreasing scenario, we meet all the setback requirements. But it's, obviously the board's decision as to whether or not you want peer review, and that's the question I forgot to ask the board. We have shown that we satisfy parking, open space requirements, and decreasing area pavement.
So that's replacing the original building?
There was a building here previously, there were some buildings were torn down, they've already been torn down.
Does that equal more or less the same square footage that was there?
I don't know if it matches exactly, and several buildings have been torn down here, but the whole site plan now, we reviewed it for open space for the entire parcel. It was at one time, remember, 2 parcels, but now it's a single parcel, so we looked at the entire parcel and make sure that it complied with zoning for setback requirements.
Could we limit it just to the drainage then?
Again, the drainage aspect of it, the final drainage calculations, basically, it's a paved site, and when we're through the project, the amount of pavement is less after the manage goes in, and some minor alteration of parking than it was now, so we really didn't do any drainage calculations because we decreased the amount of runoff coming from the site.
How are you decreasing the runoff? Are you tearing up asphalt?
Yes, replacing some of the asphalt with grass islands. It's close, but it is a slight decrease. And side note, it is going to the Conservation Commission as well, because we are within the floodplain, so they're getting a notice of intent application as well.
Do you have the before and after documented on the plans and everything?
Yes, it's the impervious areas shown before and after.
Will the conservation have a peer review, do you know?
I don't know regarding this
They
project.
occasionally do.
Yeah, the only aspect I think this regards to the Conservation Commission is compensatory flood storage, because of the, working in the floodplain.
Are you building up the elevation at all or anything?
The elevation, the footprint of the building will be slightly above the 100-year flood elevation, and we sort of compensated for by putting a slight depression up Route 9 to make up the balance. for
But I
the
mean,
vehicles.
there was an existing building then that they removed, right?
Pardon?
There was an existing building that they knocked down there, right?
Yes, there was. But we've gone through all the calculations to show the pre and post from a flood storage perspective, and that will be reviewed by the Conservation Commission.
So that was the structure that was removed from,
That was a long
looks
building
like
that
they
was on the
kept
side.
part of it.
Yeah, they kept part of it there.
That's on the westerly border, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The proposed building's going here.
Yeah.
And again, when the original design for the original hotel, everything was designed, the detention basin associated was based on this site plan. So this was the original drainage calculations, was accommodated to drainage for the project of pre and post. And then also we would analyze that versus that to make sure that we're not impacting the drainage on that portion. Again, it's if the board wants peer review, we're fine with that.
Well,
It's
this
just-
is the second request we've had in a couple of meetings regarding waiving the peer review, and we were asking about the cost of the last one. And is it a significant amount, dollar-wise?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's an extensive dollar amount. It's just whether or not the board wants to have it. It's the timeframe aspect of it as well. Well, we don't have a strong feel one way or the other. It was my negligence
I-
to not ask.
You know,
for
if it's
it.
$10,000 is one thing, if it's $300 or $400, it's another thing for, and
Yeah, it's close to 1,500, I believe, for like a minimum.
Engineer told me it was between $3,000 and $5,000.
That's if it's a more extensive
Right.
drainage.
I would think just to
I don't
review-
think the dollar cost should have anything to do with it. Either you want it or you don't want it,
I
okay?
would think just to review, everything else seems good. I agree with it. I think just to cover ourselves, we should do the drainage only,
Just have none review. Okay, that's fine.
okay?
But that drainage still has to comply with the MS4 law, isn't it? Or is that existing doesn't have to?
It's existing, we're not changing or detrimentally impacting the drainage. We're told we intend to have,
I would just like to see something on the drainage, because that's the one thing. Everything else we can kind of agree, you know, you go less parking, you comply with 2 for 1 and everything. The numbers can work. And I don't disagree that the drainage is probably fine. But I think just to cover ourselves, I'd like to see a review of just the drainage.
You know,
I look at this, it's not greater than what was there, it's less.
That's correct.
So,
but, you know,
I don't see why they should do it.
this part of town is starting to be developed more and more, and I think we've got to start looking a little closer at it.
Yeah.
But it's less of a building.
I
So,
understand.
you know,
Yep.
that's my 2 cents. I think just the drainage would be good. Or the board, the rest of them, John says he doesn't think they need it at all. Mike,
I think we need it.
just for the drainage?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
just for the drainage.
Just for the
Okay.
drainage.
Okay,
thank you, appreciate it.
thank you. Tap room is already on the agenda. It is 7:34. Mr. Larry, we'll cover you and then we'll go on with the public hearings, so we don't have to drag you out till the end. If you want to hang around, you may.
Oh,
Obviously. You're really here for the,
couple of things.
we received 0 comments, so therefore, by default, we're good.
We'll go with that, and then I think we talked last year about you wanted to vote to formally adopt it or accept it.
Correct,
And that is on the agenda.
correct. Mr. Dwyer, make a
So
motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the master plan update. Does it have does the final date on it?
I will use today's.
Okay. Okay, master plan update as of 6/6/17.
That's the motion. Do you have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I certainly would like to see some more talk on solar and accessory apartments.
I think that can be done. Doesn't have to be part of the master plan.
Mhm.
That's a zoning thing.
Okay.
So that's nothing to.
That can actually be a to-do part of the,
It's
to
part
be
of-
investigated.
Yeah, we'll do that as part of the work program for
Right.
this coming year.
I mean, that's right.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, we take that to the printer. I talked to DHC today in Boston, and they will accept the digital version of it. They don't want a hard copy. So I'll make the arrangements to get that, to put in the Dropbox and pick that up as well. So that's great. Second thing was the FY18 PPA contract.
Right.
I emailed you a digital version of that. So. And that does have the scope for next year attached to
This your contract?
that. Yes,
Are you asking for more money?
no.
You
No?
asking for what?
Oh,
No.
the one I've got says draft on it. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I emailed you a clean version
Oh, darn.
yesterday, but it's the same, it hasn't changed.
Okay, I think I printed out the draft version by mistake.
That's okay, you want a clean copy?
Well, you got a clean copy. Well, you need 3 of them. But
Yeah.
you just need a plan to see the chairman's signature.
Yeah.
I will entertain a motion to have the chairman sign the 3 copies of the fiscal year 2018 planning assistant with PVC.
I'll make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. So I'll sign these, get it by the town accountant, and then we'll give it back to you.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And we may be the first
How
time
many
in a
hou-
long time that we made it. We just missed last year.
You got away easy this time.
How many hours do you think you dedicate to Hadley? It's got to be a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's over 100.
Yeah, so you're
Don't be
you're
tapping
you're
them on the
cheap.
back
You're
that much.
cheap. I got to tell you, you're cheap. You're cheap. It's a hell of a
We had this
deal.
conversation, and the doctor and I talked about it, and it is it's a good investment
Yeah.
in terms of hiring your own in-house alternative.
Okay, so this would be a good time, since we have the, the work program. John, you wanted to add 2 things to the work program?
Right. Solar and accessory apartment.
Okay, what aspect of solar? Location or?
Locations, and I gotta think about screenings,
Okay.
and the takeover of agricultural land.
Okay, so Larry, will you just make a note that,
Yep.
just add that to the scope of work?
Yeah, and that's very timely, because we're doing a lot of green community stuff at the office. And we're doing a lot of new bylaws. In fact, we are working on a 11-acre solar farm in Southampton where they're cutting down 11 acres of forest, which,
Not going well, I would think, by some people.
yeah.
Well, this is
Question.
the delicate balance between the rights of the individual property owner and the rights of the community. I mean, if it was your land and that woods was doing nothing and you could get some income from a,
Well, this is on a very large farm.
Yeah.
And
It's a tough-
there's a lot of acreage that's been cleared in his grades for pasture land. And then there's this like, about 15 acres of forest at the far end of it.
yep,
And rather than put it on 10 acres of the pasture land, they're taking down the forest, and putting it there.
I don't care what we do, we're not gonna satisfy everyone.
You know.
no, you're not.
It's like no
Yeah.
wisdom.
Question on a separate topic. When we talked before about the inclusionary zoning, do you know of any towns that have a fund set up like we have for our TDR fund?
Like a trust?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
you do.
yeah. I'm not sure if there are any in this area that do.
Well, you know,
And it's been a hot topic in the eastern part of the state.
our inclusionary zoning bylaw originally had a housing trust fund component,
Right.
which got stripped out at town meeting because of objections from the finance
Right.
committee. Can you, I went looking for the original
I have the
text.
original.
You do?
I have the original.
Okay.
text at
I
home.
believe this is one of your master plan goals or topics.
Right, so could you find something from the Eastern, could you find something on the funding and get it to us? Because like we talked to Mr. Barrett, Mr. Roberts, we'd like to do something, because there's some stuff coming up besides his that's going to hit this, we got some subdivisions that are gonna be hit this inclusionary zoning threshold. And we're finding out, just so we talk about, and we talked about it with you, that this is way more involved than we thought, and that was not our intention.
It really is, and you know, what a lot of towns are finding is the in lieu of payment thing has become a problem. The trust aspect of it has gotten a lot of discussion. And then the infamous having your housing authority monitor everything has sort of hit a brick wall. And because I know we had that issue
Right.
with Mr. Roberts. And I think just about every town has that clause in there.
Yeah,
There's a lot
And
of
so, and I've actually been talking to the state about that, you know, that's probably a good thing to take out of their model. And so essentially, I think the alternative is, you know, there are entities out there that you can hire to do the monitoring, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, and if we got a fund and something that can be administered by a, I don't want to say one-stop shopping, but to have 10 different entities, just, I'm stretching it obviously, trying to enforce this across could be a, to me, looks like a record for disaster.
Yeah, no, I agree.
How is the local, housing authorities that you know of are rejecting to do this?
Well, yours was the first one that's really come out and said that, but none of the other ones have. Interesting is it's the state that's sort of now recommending they not get involved in these private developments.
So somebody's gonna do it.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, there are agencies out there.
Right.
They can do that. I know that there's, they used to be called APP, now it's Wayfinders, but down in Springfield, I think there's something, an agency in Amherst, that can do it. It's just, they're gonna have to pay for it.
I think the point Larry made earlier was that one is Executive Office of Housing and Community Development, one branch of the state agency sets out these suggested zoning bylaws that says the housing authority should supervise it. Another branch of the same agency is telling the housing authorities that they shouldn't do it.
Right. And it's funny because after the meeting I was at when I first learned about this from Mr. Roberts, I was at a meeting with Bill Raelt from the bylaw side of it. And I mentioned it to him that, you know, this is this issue that's popped up. And he kind of got a, you know, OS moment, that, you know, holy cow, yeah, you know, and everybody in the state is pretty much done it like this. So it's an issue they're gonna have to address.
Larry, getting back to solar for a second, how are the wealthier communities in Eastern Mass handling it? Say Wellesley, Newton, Beverly.
I can check.
Are solar fields being put in these communities, or are they
I'm
getting,
assuming
or are they
yes.
getting around it
I'm
somehow?
assuming yes, because you really can't prohibit them.
Yeah, but
You just regulate them.
I'd like to just see what they're doing.
Well, I can give you that.
I'm suspecting something like Wellesley, you don't have any 10-acre parcels that are
Oh,
available.
but you know, they could probably, Wellesley College, you could put it right in the middle of that, you know?
They can do anything they want.
That's my question, though.
Yeah.
Is the burden falling unreasonably on Western Mass, especially communities that have a lot of farmland?
I spent a year and a half in Spencer over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And in that year and a half, I think there were 7 that were in, including one that was like 75 acres. I mean, and they're enormous. I mean, they are all 2 megawatt
Well,
facilities or
Spencer's a little different from Wellesley or Newton or
Well, it is, but I
Beverly.
mean, that's central Mass.
Yeah,
That's real central.
I'd say that's probably more poverty there than out here.
I'm not sure it's so much Eastern Mass, Western Mass. It may be a wealthy community, less wealthy.
Just curious.
But I can check into that.
Okay.
How do those solar fields do during the weeks where you don't have any sunlight? Any idea?
They generate some,
Yeah, they still
they still
do. Yeah, a little
generate.
bit.
It's only
They
if,
generate
you
some,
know,
yeah.
the darkness of night.
Yeah.
And don't grab those wires. Think. As long as the sun's shining, they're pumping it out.
What else have we got, Larry? That's it?
And the definitions, I sent them to Tim following the last meeting. He was very happy and grateful that the board was tackling this. He had a couple of comments, he's gonna look them over, we're gonna get together and sit down and go over them.
Okay.
But he was, this is gonna help him a lot. And that's all.
Good.
Very good.
Thank you very much. See you in a month.
I will not stay.
No, you will not see
you.
it.
That's right. See you in 2 months. 4th of July is our
Oh,
next.
yes.
Yep.
Unless you want to come here.
No, but
and-
thank you for pointing that out.
Good night. All right. We'll go on with some of the quicker ones here. Let's see. Public hearing, tap room. Where is it? Yes. The Hadley Planning Board will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, June 6, 2017, beginning at 7:15 in the Hadley Senior Center Meeting Room. Excuse me. Purpose of the hearing is to review the application of the tap room for special permit establishment focused on primarily serving liquor at the existing Mill Valley condominium, Mill Valley Commons building at the intersection of Russell and Mill Valley Road. Application and plan may be viewed in the town clerk's office during normal business hours. Published twice in the Gazette, May 23 and 30. And what do you want to do?
Like, have a special permit granted, so I can move forward with the liquor license and open a tap room at that location.
How many square feet you're going to be doing?
2,422.
Oh, pretty good sized room.
Yeah.
That's about, what, half the building?
No, the building is five, it's drawing shift again. The building is five units, and it's one of the middle ones, 24, 22. And we're taking it to one of the middle ones.
How big was it again?
2,422.
And where are you gonna locate this in that complex?
It's, so it's right where, number C, sorry. So the building, first building here is the dance studio. We are right here.
So this one's towards the road?
This one's towards the road, yeah, here's the
Mill
main.
Valley Road?
Yep, here's 9 right here.
Okay, so it's gonna be this one right here.
Correct, yes.
This is the one they're gonna see from Route 9.
That's it, yeah. There it is.
I attached it just the layout, the emergency plan, as well as the description of the last page here.
Just for the audience, when we applied for this, we redid the zoning bylaws in a tabular form or a spreadsheet kind of a form as opposed to the original word listing. We discovered that a liquor establishment that serves only liquor and not food was not permitted at all in the town of Hadley unless it was a nonprofit club. So we, rather than change the whole bylaw, we put it's now permitted in the business zone, the industrial zone, with a special permit from the planning board, and that's why this is about, because it's really a form of I don't want to call it a restaurant, but if they're serving liquor only, that's what this gentleman wants to do, and that's why this is being done. It's not a site plan approval because the building has already gone through site plan approval. This is a special permit to allow him or this business to serve liquor primarily, and whatever minor little snacks he may have, I'm sure will be part of it.
Well, when you say liquor, let's clarify. Beer and wine mostly, eventually probably liquor, but focus largely on the craft brewers, the craft wineries, the
Okay.
farmer brewers locally. Not a place to be doing shots, and things of that nature, so.
This bylaw only allows the use. The authority is the selectmen to grant you the permit.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
You need a liquor license.
You need a liquor license. Yeah, we're not granting the liquor license, we're only granting the right to be such a business in this zone. Yes, question?
Yes, hi. Yeah, I have first of all, you're not the proprietor, you're the person who took on this license,
I'm proprietor of the business, not the building.
not the building?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, of the business that you have this tap room.
Correct.
I would be your neighbor across the street, and I have a problem. First of all, I'm Kathy Salvatore. I live right across from the entryway into the Mill Valley Commons. And I'm a resident in that piece of property, right on the top of the property. And also alongside, on the other side, there's 3 houses, also resident. I've been here for over 55 years. I've seen lots of changes up and down Route 9, like all you guys have seen, as a Hadley. So we have residential basically going on. And across from the Mill Valley Commons, I'm here as a resident. The problems why I'm sort of against you having a tap room there with a liquor license is, first of all, there would be extra traffic being, coming and going in and out of that driveway. And it would be cars, trucks, and motorcycles, because tap rooms, I used to frequent establishments myself. I have a brother that also loves motorcycles. So entering and leaving the premises on your establishment that you don't have, that's between 5 p.m. and probably 1 or 2 a.m. As a resident area, after that, between the 5 and the 2, or the next day, we sort of like our quiet time. After a long day's work, I'm a caretaker for my 2 elderly parents now, which is quite draining if you've ever been a caretaker for your folks. And also Mary Byron, who lives across directly across Route 9. She is also a caretaker and a retired nurse. So with just Route 9 being on it'd be my right. Now I'd be dealing with more ins and outs, that I would hear from my house. I think that would make it a little bit more dangerous for myself and also for, the point on the top, coming in and out. People who come off Route 9, if anybody knows how Route 9 can be on a busy weekend or when the students are back, or, Super Bowl time or whatever it might be. Drivers are often frustrated being on Route 9, stuck in the traffic, coming over the Coolidge Bridge into our town. And when they come off of Route 9 and bear to the right on Mill Valley Road, it's a 45-mile-per-hour area, and people love to get off of Route 9. With the new customers entering into the Mill Valley Commons and leaving just across my driveway could cause more accidents there. And also there's a telephone pole right across from that driveway, so yikes. Right now, I just noticed I was coming from Mill Valley to Route 9, and the stop sign there is pushed over. That gets smashed every now and then trying to get on Route 9. Leaving the Mill Valley Road properties, it's a little of an incline going on to Route 9, and so, and it's very hard and a dangerous spot to be pulling out, either going down to Northampton or out to Amherst. And I hear a lot of peeling out traffic, so with the additional trucks and cars and motorcycles, in my quiet time, I'm going to hear more and more of that. And just in May, we had a 3-car accident there. It was a bump, bump, bump kind of a thing. So this is why I'm sort of concerned about having just more traffic, never mind happy people leaving the establishment. With the just drinking, I was concerned about that. Would there be more entertainment to keep the people happy? So you're talking maybe, I don't know if they call it a jukebox anymore. I even have to look up how you spell J-U. It's a T-E-P-O-X or K. It's jukebox. I don't think they have those anymore. Also, I'm concerned about the safety of the 2 other businesses located on the Mill Valley Commons. The dance studio is way over to my side. Then there's, I believe that's A section. B section is empty, and it's a small little section. And this gentleman wants to have the C section and D section. And then there's a martial arts center that was just open there. And the martial arts people, they have their times, their hours, and they do go past 5 o'clock. With people coming and going, maybe after their hard work day, you want to go to the tap room, might create a little bit of a problem with people coming and going from that martial arts place too. The dance place, I believe they would have maybe some adults. It's an Irish, I don't know, how did Irish dancing get into it? But anyway, it's a little Irish dancing kind of establishment that has gone in there. I'd just like the board to consider if your driveway was at the other end of an establishment where you had motorcycles, trucks, more cars going in and out between 5 and 2 o'clock. Would you appreciate that? I'm not saying that that's a never kind of situation over there on Mill Valley Commons, but as of right now, I think they could hopefully find a different kind of, the proprietor maybe would have some consideration, maybe have more appropriate places to rent. People who aren't going to be there between 5 or 6 o'clock in the day between 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
What are your hours of operation going to be?
During the week, 5 till 11. We're, like I said, we're not like a nightclub or something like that. We close at 11. We're a higher class constituency there. We charge $6 for a beer. You're not getting down a pitcher of Bud Light in our establishment. You're getting a glass of wine you're paying $8 to $10 for. It's just not the type of place that there's going to be parties going on until 2 in the morning. It's definitely not 2 in the morning. I'm too old close at 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
11 o'clock is a closing hour.
What about on the weekend? You said during the week.
So weekends will probably open, we can open somewhere around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but still not open past 11 o'clock.
okay, I also feel that, Hadley right now, we have coming off the bridge, you have Mia Tierra, which is a Spanish-Mexican restaurant, you can have libations there. There's, Alina's, which used to be Carmelina's, which is again with food in it. There's the Texas Roadhouse that was just, up past us, where you can have libations with some food. Applebee's Neighborhood Bar and Grill, Chili's across from there, Ginger Gardens down the street. So there's about 5 different restaurants, and they're restaurants with that, the beer, wine, and whatever else fancies you. And of course, we have hotels now in Hadley, which I was trying to go back years and years ago, it was just Spruce Hill Road. Spruce Hill Hotels, right down from, was the only hotel I could think of, across from Chet Kulikowski's, from where No Valley Conferences, if you remember,
So can I address a
55 years ago.
couple more issues? Can I address?
Yes.
So I was there today at 5 o'clock, there was 20 cars in the parking lot. So there's already people there at the establishment, 2 businesses there. Somebody's gonna move into those other locations. I don't think they're gonna be vacant forever, so there will be cars going in and out. I also met with the police, the chief of police and the fire department chief, and talked about the parking, the travel in and out of the area. Neither one of them seemed concerned about, it is a tough corner, I admit that, it is a tough corner there. I've heard maybe there's gonna be a stoplight put there sometime, but I don't know that for a fact.
But even with
they
a
didn't-
stoplight,
but they
you're
didn't
gonna have
concern.
in and out.
Just a second. This gentleman
I'm sorry.
speaking,
I'm sorry, yes.
you need to be recognized to speak again, please.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
that's, I have done my due diligence to talk to the local officials about the area. Someone eventually is gonna move into those locations. If nothing else, I leave here with the feeling that you guys know that it's not like I said, it's not a nightclub, it's not disco lights going off in the thing till 2 o'clock in the morning. There may be a gentleman in the corner or a female in the corner playing guitar, singing very low at certain times. We don't have a jukebox, we have a stereo in there. It's just a basic stereo. We can play music off of our phone. So, I would liken it to a place that you may go to, like abandoned building brewery, small, quaint, upper echelon type clientele. Who can afford to spend $6 or $7 for a beer in there for a couple beers, sampling the different local flavors, and that's basically
I understand.
You haven't been recognized. Thank you. Anybody else with questions? Anybody on the board with questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna address that lady down there. I haven't recognized you when this building was built, complaining about what it could be done. It's zone business. What do you expect this business to do? Just to build a building and leave it empty?
I don't, that's why I really don't, I understand, business and stuff, but, we're part of Hadley, we're still residents there, and it's just not me. I have another neighbor right across the street, and that's butter, and they're restaurant people, and they come in, I see them go at 10 o'clock and come home at 10 o'clock. And I like to hear my peepers in the spring, and I keep my windows open. I am not one that, when it's warm, I close my house down. And it's just that I'm really appreciative of the proprietor for leasing or getting rent from other establishments. And most of the establishments, even if it was an AutoZone, is closed by at least 8 o'clock. And I'm just asking for, we are residents, there is, for instance, we have a Megan's Landscaping and another business down on Mill Valley. Between 6 and 7:30, we hear beep, 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 and we hear the big plow trucks backing up and stuff. I can't stop business happening in Hadley, and it's, I'm not asking that. It's just that we do like our peace and quiet in certain sections of the town. I would go, there's Hasty Fence that my cousin leases. There's other businesses around where we are. Chuck Kulikowski has that piece of land. Up from me, from the Texas Longhorns, there's a couple of residents there, and, I understand the town is changing. I've seen a lot of changes in the past 55 years. Lowe's and Home Depots and all these others, but we used to have a brown round. It was in the mall. There's appropriate parking. He's gonna bring in some, there's enough of hopefully enough of parking in that Mill Valley Commons to be appropriate for another establishment coming in and the other smaller unit. Is that gonna be enough of parking?
I can answer that.
What's the capacity of
60.
60 people?
60 is the capacity, there's 70 some spots in that building, so.
No, there's about 60.
But I didn't
And a
finish,
couple of-
I didn't finish
Go ahead.
talking to you about this. How long you been there? At your
property?
place? How long you been there?
I've been at least 20, 30 years at Mill Valley property.
How many years has that been a business zone?
The property that
Your
I'm-
property, your father was Pete,
Correct.
is? He also wanted to sell that for a business, that whole corner, correct? Correct?
I have 4.2 acres there, sir, yes.
But he wanted to, that was his land originally, right?
Yes,
He wanted to sell that, I think it was Langley Ford or something like that. I could remember way back.
that's
on it.
correct.
Now, you live in a business district, what do you expect? To go back to a residential district? That's not gonna
It
happen.
might.
That's not gonna happen.
Judd, just for the record, that parcel is zoned industrial.
Well, business or industrial?
It is
But-
industrial,
But it's
not.
not residential.
And
You know-
industrial allows for no further, new residential construction is not allowed in the industrial district.
Right.
I just want to point out that there is some historical precedent in town for these types of establishments to be on Route 9. There was a former priest in Hadley, a Catholic priest in the 50s, that named Route 9 as it went through Hadley, Highball Highway. So it's not like use is changing at all.
Any other comments from anybody? Board, anything?
Yeah, is he gonna have a sign? Where's your sign gonna be?
I believe the landlord has approval for a ladder sign in front of the building. It's not installed yet, but it'll be one of the 5 signs on that ladder sign. So I assume he already had that all approved for you when you built the building.
Okay.
There's no sign, but it'll be on, where the Macmillan sign is today, it'll be right in that location.
I have one more comment,
Yes.
please. Right now, how many people were in there?
How many people, you mean, tenants or by occupancy?
Tentatively, there were only like 20 people there
In
right
parking
now.
lot, yeah, roughly.
It's the summer. We have 3 colleges in the area, and, like I said, there's other establishments where they can eat and drink. So, I can't look at a crystal ball and say, this is gonna be great, and everything's gonna be quiet, but, next door to the Mill Valley Commons, there's a rental, and there have been, when students come back, they like to have their, hey buddy, I'm back, and then, other parties, and they have bussed people into that house, to the house right next door to, right next door to the Mill Commons, place, so now all they have to do is go over and tap into your place and say, hey, we got a place here to hang out. And at night, I had people walking down from the party at that house, screaming and yelling at each other and dropping the F-bomb to wake me up at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, those things can happen, but they're not gonna happen all the time. And but yeah, that kind of stuff can happen. They're gonna find out there's a tap.
And those things happening have nothing to do with this business.
But that's a rental. Kind of
That's a rental issue, that if it's a rental issue and it bothers you, you should be taking that up with the Board of Selectmen or the Chief of Police,
Well,
because neither this gentleman nor this board has any control over that. I'm not trying to make light of the issue, don't take it that way by any stretch, but that is an issue, and I agree with you, but that's not something we can have any control over, and whether or not this gentleman is there probably won't matter. It's really something, I mean, if it, I can see where it bothers you. I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm trying to make light of it, but that's an issue to take up with the Board of Selectmen, because I believe there is a noise bylaw and stuff like that that addresses some of that stuff that they can enforce.
Well, and I could rent out my house there and have, you know, it downsizes it, not downsizes, I'm looking for the appropriate word. But, if I were to rent out that house on Mill Valley Road to professional people or to younger families, it's not gonna, and the tap room is there and other things are there. This is why, like I said, it's just, the hours and possibly the extra noise and the dangerous situation right there between coming off Route 9, people wanting to take a right into the, or leaving, it's just gonna be a lot more noisy.
Well, just a personal observation, if you're gonna go out and tie one on at night, I don't think this is the place you're gonna do it. I really don't.
Any other comments, questions? Motion,
Just a second.
new form?
Yeah, well, it's small, it's because it's not site plan approval.
How did you get Arcade Miles to draw this up for you?
I didn't, it came from a lender,
But
part of my lease.
If you buy the lumber from them, they'll do it.
well, I do ask is that where the lumber
All right. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the application for a special permit based upon the following findings. Project is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the bylaw. The project is not detrimental to the established or future character of the neighborhood. Work will be conducted in accordance with this plan set. Approval is for the specific intended use of the premises as the tap room. Any other use is prohibited without further approval, as this is in the aquifer. Hours are, this is something you can come back to if you want to, but hours 5 to 11 weekdays, 2 to 11 weekends. Sign design to be approved in the future. We want to see what it's actually going to look like. You're not putting in any landscaping. Approval is subject to approval of other boards if and as required, including the Conservation Commission, the Sewer Commission, and Water Commissioners. And it's also subject to Select Board approval of a liquor license.
question on that time, Bill? That time only pertains to the business opening, not, you know, like cleaning or anything else that can be before or after?
That's to open hours, operating hours.
Operating hours.
Operating hours.
Is that satisfactory?
So, yeah, because we could be cleaning later or early
Right,
morning.
so it
Right.
doesn't, they
Yeah.
don't get in trouble if they're in their building cleaning.
And I suspect that will be also addressed by the Select Board in their
Right, yeah.
license.
But, well, yeah, but it's got to be in conjunction with us. For the tap room, I would put, maybe recommend, as a proprietor, Joe, was it Eckkerle?
Eckerly.
Eckerle, that if the ownership changed, they'd have to come back to us.
Okay.
That's, yeah, not a problem at all.
Well, any use has to, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, he could sell it to somebody else and keep it as a tap room, but they could completely change the operation of of this thing. Whereas this way, we'll make it that if it changes ownership, they would have to come back to us.
Okay, I'll add, if ownership changes, further review is required.
Good.
Okay, that's
Trying
the,
to be nice to all you neighbors. Absolutely happy.
Absolutely.
Right.
I run a facility in South Deerfield with 400 employees, believe me, I'm nice to all our neighbors right there.
okay, so that's the motion.
That's the motion?
Second.
Motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Gentlemen,
Thank you.
anything I can take with me, or?
No, just go, make sure you go to the selectmen for the liquor license.
We can do it tomorrow.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, continuations. Which one do you want to take up? Looks like most, well, they're probably about split. Let's go with
I'll actually get it, maybe, how many
Okay.
people do we have for Eversource?
Shady Lawn? Nobody. All right.
Okay, Eversource.
Eversource is next. Continuation for the solar facility at South Maple Street, Mill Valley Road, kind of an intersection there. And Eversource.
Moody Bridge in South Maple, not Mill Valley.
It's got some frontage on, oh, Moody Bridge, I'm sorry, Moody Bridge in Mill Valley, I'm sorry.
Ian Wisniewski, Eversource, wanted to present a letter we got from Mr. Earl. We talked about landscaping,
Okay.
he asked us to meet with him and set up a landscape plan on his property. So that's a letter that we prepared, and there's an attached landscape plan. You'll see it on the overall
Okay.
site plan as well.
You only got one copy of that letter.
I have two.
I happen to have a couple of copies of the plan here.
Wait. South Maple, okay, there we go, that makes more sense. Okay.
Okay, good evening, for the record, Mike Gagnon from Malone and McBroom, on behalf of Eversource. Basically, since the last time we met, which I believe was on April 17th, there was a request to provide some additional plantings on the adjacent parcel, or I should say the parcel south of our property on Mr. Earl's parcel. And what I'd like to do is just kind of quickly go through what those changes are. So what we did is if you go to the index plan, we actually revised the index plan, which is sheet IN in the set. And this is basically the main area of the proposed site. Moody Bridge Road is up here to the north. This is South Maple Street, and this is Mr. Earl's property down here. And essentially, the request was made, and we coordinated the placing of the plantings with the property owner to provide screening of the facility from his house. We had a couple of different iterations, went back and forth. And jumping to the plan of those changes is if you go to LA2, that shows the proposed plantings in terms of how they will be placed on this property. So this is South Maple Street. This is the driveway, the gravel driveway that comes up to the house here. And essentially what we're doing is providing a row of arborvitaes that will be placed right along the northerly side of the driveway, approximately 225 feet long hedgerow of arborvitaes to provide screening from the proposed facility, which is up here.
Are there any more arborvitae that grow in this general area of town naturally?
Yes.
Is it, they're native?
Yeah,
They're native
they
to the
are.
area?
Yeah, we tried to,
On any of the fields around there, are there arborvitae growing?
I can tell you, if you go to.
Pete Cook, do you have any arborvitae on your property?
No.
No, I
Mostly grass.
Okay.
Couple trees.
Yep,
they're called, actually, the common name is called the green giant arborvitae, and that's specified on the plant list, which has been updated also.
What's the height of them?
They vary,
We were planting at 6 feet.
yeah, 6 feet.
6 feet?
They're green giants, they grow very quickly.
So that kind of summarized the changes.
So to summarize, the total acreage of the total parcel that you own is
30-something acres.
32 acres.
32 or 34? 32?
Right here in your front page, that's the agreement.
32 acres you own, and the solar panels will cover 4.7?
Yeah, just under 5.
Okay.
Is there any future thought of expanding that solar array on that site?
We're pretty much confined due to wetland resource areas. We actually, honestly, we had looked at a larger scheme, but we're really limited by the wetlands. And
What
looking
about,
at
to
sheet
what about
alley,
to the north?
same reason, we can't go any further north because
You
the
can't
wetlands.
build no solar arrays in that
No,
northerly section?
no, that's all wetlands.
But could you buy any other land from a farmer and put a solar array in the future? Probably, right? Could this be the beginning of something bigger?
The abutting pieces are being put into APR, the southerly abutting.
They can take it out of APR though, can't they?
No,
not easily.
Legislature to do it.
Yeah, really?
Back to legislation.
Well, they put the solar law in so they can do anything they want.
They put the what?
The solar law in so they can do everything they want.
Oh,
It's a 2/3 or 3/4 vote of the legislature.
Well,
and you
To
you also
remove from
need
61
town meeting approval.
To remove from APR.
Okay,
And you have to pay back what you got.
I understand that. Eversource has the money.
I don't think it's that much. That's a lot.
I understand.
Okay. Mr. Earl, make sure you agree with this. This is what you've agreed to. I understand. Yes.
Sir, well, so, as I said before, I'm not, I'm opposed to this, of course, for all the reasons we've talked about, but because the bylaws really didn't protect this property, we're gonna mitigate the issue with this thing, the best we can do.
But the
Anybody else?
letter, excuse me, the letter that you signed is basically protecting you from this solar array, correct? What about everybody else? Nothing's being accomplished really. And, we got a letter here from Mr. Siago. Is anybody going to read this letter into the record? Or will it be made part of the record?
Where is it?
Right here. Right here.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, here it is, right. Okay. Any other comments from anybody else in the audience? No, okay. We do have a letter. My name is Fred Siago. I currently live at 111 South Maple Street with my wife and 3 sons. Letter is in regard to the proposed solar project for the corner of Moody Bridge and South Maple Street. We are strongly opposed to the solar project. We do not object to solar power as we ourselves have installed a solar system on our house. South Maple Street is open farmland with beautiful views of the Holyoke Range. Time and effort has been put in to label this area as a greenway for migrating birds, and most of the land around it have been preserved by the Kestrel Land Trust. A solar farm in this area would go against all the hard work that has already been done to keep the land open and safe for birds and other wildlife. This solar project will also be an eyesore. Just drive to Atkins Farm and see what Hampshire College's solar farm looks like. One of the reasons we chose to build our home in this area was the open space and the beautiful views, and this project will devalue not only my home, but the land and homes located on South Maple Street. Hadley and Amherst already have numerous large-scale solar installations, many of which are within a mile of the proposed project. These installations continue to be built on farmland which goes against Hadley's heritage. Again, we support renewable energy, but feel the site selection for this project is not appropriate, and we strongly oppose it. Signed, Fred and Heather Ciaglo, 111 South Maple Street. Any other comments?
One comment. I'm Peter Cook. I live right across the street. I own property, and my brother also owns property right across from where this existing site is. And our feeling is that these people own this land, and I think they have a right to do what is legally or environmentally acceptable. So I have no problem with this at all. I don't think it's gonna depreciate my property at all. And I could go back 10 years and I could say, well, it was nice where I live, but then, you know, a couple of houses got built here and a couple more got built there. But I didn't say anything. It's their property. They have a right to do what they want with it. So I think, you know, it's kind of, you know, they had property on Route 9 that they sold, put Lowell's on, and they came out and they built their nice houses over our way. No one said nothing about that. So I don't see what they're complaining about now. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Entertain a motion, Mr. Dwyer?
Okay, so we first have to go through an administrative review. And I think everything has been addressed. It's been sent out for interdepartmental review. We didn't get any comments back from anyone, did we?
No.
We're within the timeline. We have received the required documents for site plan, the specs, contact information, electrical schematic, design documents, elevations, yeah, all the documentation was correct. Proof of liability insurance. Did we get that in the package?
I believe that.
That's usually provided by the contractor, the building, usually it's provided as part of the building permit.
Okay.
Okay, so the applicant, that's you, shall be required to provide evidence of liability insurance in an amount and for a duration sufficient to cover loss or damage to persons and property caused by the failure of the system. I'm actually not sure how much damage off-site would occur if the system failed. But why don't we just, by construction, just provide some evidence of appropriate insurance. You have site control. You don't have to notify the utility. Land clearing is not an issue. Soil's not an issue. Wildlife corridor is not an issue. Setbacks are not an issue. And parking is not an issue. So that's the administrative review. So let's see, what do we have? We have the site plan approval. How many permits are we dealing with here?
I believe we have site plan, aquifer. I'm looking for the legal notice. Let's see. Large-scale ground mount solar, site plan approval, erosion and sediment control, 4 of them, and construction and aquifer. So.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Sure.
What's the, like, the lifespan of that solar field? I mean, like 10 years, 20 years?
25, like, to possibly extend for 10 more years to try and depending on how
So these things are gonna be similar, like just, you know, like mount on cement blocks or whatever?
No.
it's
No
So in
cement.
20 years, whenever you decide you can just yank them right out of there,
Yeah.
that field will be right like it is today.
We
I mean, it's kind of a win-win situation.
Then the land is back to where it is today.
Oh, that's right, we didn't address the pilot program.
This has already been, I believe, This already's gone through pilot program.
No, at the town meeting, what was you agreed to pay the town in lieu of taxes, payment in lieu
We
of
agreed
taxes?
to pay property taxes.
They did not request a
Oh,
pilot.
you're gonna pay property taxes on this,
We're gonna pay property taxes.
not pilot program.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So what's the difference?
Usually it's in your benefit. We don't qualify as a utility for the pilot program. It's a separate generation legislation, and we're a distribution company, so that doesn't really apply to us legally. We can't enter into pilot agreements. So we provide property taxes, whatever we pay.
So they'll pay the tax based on a value of this process, of this parcel.
But nothing on the sewers themselves, there's personal property tax.
No.
No, we'll pay for all the arrays, the equipment, all that.
Yeah.
We pay
Yeah,
for
so they're paying real estate tax and personal property tax.
both will be increased, I assume.
Personal property tax on the network of the array,
Right, correct.
how much would that be?
Uh,
How many dollars are we talking
in a
about?
ballpark, about $2 million.
What is the tax will you pay?
That I don't know, I don't know the mill rate, we don't,
Not sure what your mill rate
we
is.
don't usually provide.
11,
that.
figure 1125 a thousand.
No, it's higher than that. It's closer to 14.
Oh, that's right, we had 9 overrides.
You forgot about that, Joe?
No, you didn't get billed yet for that.
So it'll be roughly, you're talking 280,000 a year roughly.
What are you paid now? That's not, I know that land's on a 61A, what kind of a tax you pay on that now? How do they tax you? I mean, this could be quite an increase from what.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Is it that much?
For Hadley too, is it? It's on jingle.
Just recall that Eversource has a market capitalization, if you had to buy the company today, on the stock market of about 19 billion. So this is a drop in the bucket.
I know, Mike, but still, it's a lot of jingle. You could put a bunch of houses out there and you add to the schools and you add to this, and what do you got?
Don't even know.
That's right, Peter, you remember, how many houses were proposed there?
3
30
houses on
years,
South
no,
Maple Street. when I
no,
grew up.
but 30 years ago on this property, 40 years ago.
Well,
When
I was
Noreen,
gonna put a subdivision in there.
yeah, when
right.
Noreen
How
was gonna
many
put a
houses?
subdivision in, I think between the left and the right-hand side, I think there was 27 homes.
But the Wetlands Act changed since that.
But we didn't have that back when they were gonna put this proposal
You
in,
got
when
it
they bought the
now.
land.
You got them now.
I know, but it was different when they bought it.
I want a little
They've owned it
history
for
on
50 years.
this site. Who actually purchased this site, and what reason did they purchase it for?
You're
asking I'm asking you guys.
That's historical data.
Predates
that we
me.
really don't
That's
know.
what?
That's historical data that I really don't know. We do research.
The Eversource,
It's acquired
Eversource and
through-
Northeast Utilities evidently didn't buy that to farm.
From my recollection, they originally bought it, they were gonna put a substation there.
That's what I
They were gonna
remember.
feed Hampshire College,
Commercial use.
but that fell through because Hampshire College got their juice from somewhere else. And my neighbor, the son who sold the land to, well, I guess it was not Eversource, it was Western Mass or whatever, he's been farming it, just haying it for 50 years, and it's not the best farmland, over our way. It's, right now, the ducks are having.
I was gonna say, you can't be good.
There's no tractors going out in any fields over there.
Last year was
for a while.
last year was pretty good.
You can't
Well,
drive
it
a
was just
tractor
the
out there.
opposite.
How do you expect them to build a house there?
But they were gonna do it before, John.
I know, the laws have changed
I
though.
mean, there's a lot of houses in Hadley that really shouldn't have been built where they're built. That's why we had a stick sewer over there.
That's why the laws have changed.
Yeah. But anyways,
Okay.
Anyways, okay.
All right, I'm going to do a motion to approve the application based upon the following findings. The project satisfies the general purposes of the site plan approval special permit bylaw. The intended uses are not prohibited by the terms of the bylaw and are permitted thereby. Work in connection with the following plans. What's the revision date on this?
May 16th.
Let's see, were there waiver requests here? I don't think there were. Copies of the plans have been distributed as provided in the bylaw. Proposal satisfies the site plan review criteria to the extent applicable. Pose the following conditions. The design features, including but not limited to landscaping, are considered to be an integral part of the approval. Any deviation from the plans as presented and approved will be considered a violation of the terms of site plan approval. The approval is for the following use only: the solar array. No, is there going to be any signage here? It's just a notice of some. Okay.
And safety fence.
On the gate.
No signage other than contact safety. Landscaping to be installed, maintained, and replaced per the plan at the tree caliper specified. No outdoor lighting. I'll leave in no storage trailers, shipping containers, or any other facility not depicted on the approved site plan. We've been asking for removal security of $20,000, $20,000 per megawatt?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The 20,000 now.
Today's dollars, Bill, if inflation takes over, then 20,000 is going to be worth 20,000 in 25 years, and you have to take it down.
And that is being invested by the town.
In what, the money market?
I don't know. You
Well,
can talk
I think
to
we
the
should probably look
treasurer.
into that.
What is the megawattage on this?
I think it's approximately 1, could be,
Okay.
looking at panel sizes and being from like a little bit.
Okay, so,
It's about,
hmm?
1.3 maybe.
20,000.
20,000 should
Let's
suffice.
get the scrap value and everything.
Approval is subject to approval of other boards if and as required, including the Conservation Commission and state agencies with jurisdiction. Any project changes directed by other boards must be approved by the Planning Board. Project will be reviewed for compliance by an independent consultant on behalf of the Planning Board at the expense of the applicant. Site plan approval will not become effective until this decision is incorporated with the plan set. That's the site plan approval. In addition, we are doing special permits for the business use in the aquifer protection and under the solar bylaw. And again, the finding is the project is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the bylaw. Work will be conducted according to the plans. And everything else is pretty much the same in there. And that would be for both the aquifer and for the solar special permits. And the solar special permit in part is based on the administrative review. Finally, a erosion and sediment control permit, which is not a special permit. The provisions of the bylaw are applicable to this project. The project is not exempt. Proposed site work is consistent with the bylaw. Proposed site work satisfies the performance standards of the bylaw and the design standards of the bylaw. And that will also be inspected for compliance. So that's the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes.
No, I do not. I think you jumped the gun a little bit too fast, Mr. Dwyer. I have other questions on this, and I've talked to neighbors on there.
Oh, this is the time to.
This
is the time to discuss it. We can't have discussion until the motion's been made. Now we're discussing the motion.
Okay,
I didn't jump the gun.
right.
Okay. But you would kind of like hurry up.
No, I asked before, is there any other questions? Okay, go ahead.
All right. I talked to other neighbors. This thing is split 50%. don't want this around this area. And other people in town are sick and tired of these solar arrays going all up, and they're afraid what's gonna happen in the future. These things just gonna multiply and destroy our town, destroy everything. I have no problem with a farmer in Eversource or whatever, Western Mass. They're not farmers. They never bought this with the intention to farm this site. They bought it for commercial purpose. That's what they bought it for. You know, farmers are saying, well, you know, you got your land. Yeah, you got a right to do what your land would, right? But you still don't have a right to destroy a neighborhood or take the scenic views or whatever out of this site. And I'll tell you, I'm not happy with this at all. Not at all. I further thought that screening after what happened on the Allards on Mill Valley Road, I am fed up with solar right up to here. And they basically laughed at us. It was like a joke. And it said a screening. A screening for what? For rabbits and woodchucks? An 8-inch tree? And it's out of our hands? Well, this is not out of our hands. It's in our hands. And I certainly don't want this thing to happen again. And I'm really on the edge of just joining him and saying no. And I want to listen to Mike's story, what his no is.
Well, I think the record will show that I'm not against solar fields, large solar arrays in Hadley. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I voted in favor of two from Mr. Goulet's property in back of Mountain Farms Mall. But again, he was a farmer and he has no other thing he can do with that property. He's limited. As Mr. Michikowski just said, a corporation made an investment here, not to mow hay, not to graze cows, not to raise pigs, but they made an investment to do something that the corporation wanted them to pursue. And in my opinion, they made a bad investment. That's why I'm voting against it.
And they never paid tax for a commercial. They got away with an agricultural site, but they took the agricultural site out of this. You know, the screening, I may consider this, not that they stop their screening there, let them screen that whole site in. Let them put a minimum of 8-foot-high trees right around the complete site. And then there's nothing in there about a warranty of the trees for a year, the maintenance program they're gonna have on these trees, what, you know, I mean, are these trees, they're gonna be green from the bottom up, or are they gonna go up 6 feet when they grow up and they're gonna be no limbs or no greenery on the bottom? The size of this fence in the perimeter, what's that, an 8-foot fence?
So, John, you've thrown out a lot of points, and some of them are very valid. However, we have to craft a new solar bylaw, like you were indicating when we're talking to our planner.
I'll tell you, Joe,
But if
what
we-
happened there got the best of me.
But
And
no.
that ruined the town forever.
But what we have to be aware of is that we cannot make up the rules as we go along. We have to have a new zoning bylaw, and the new zoning bylaw the state is pretty clear. We can regulate, but we cannot prohibit. The state is dictating what we can
Well,
do.
let's
So
regulate.
we don't have a lot of control, a lot of authority. You may think we do, but the Attorney General has to approve our bylaw, and if we say, no, only to farmers, not to businesses, that will be thrown out. So we have to be careful how we craft our new zoning bylaw. So it's going to become more complicated, I think, than, yes, I like this project, no, I don't like that project.
So, regulate, let's regulate. Let's put a.
Well, I think we have to make a stand here.
A screening right around the whole entire site.
There's a higher
That's
higher zoning bylaw than Hadley's, believe me. And we have to make a stand.
Well, it fundamentally breaks down to we can regulate, but we cannot prohibit.
We're not prohibiting. Tell them to find a good spot in Hadley to put this. This is not the appropriate spot. Find another spot. You guys got the money to buy another. I'm sure you could put a bigger field in someplace.
Could you point me to the section in the bylaw where it says this is not a good spot?
I don't think it's
Could you
properly
point
screened.
me to the
I don't think, I think, as a matter of fact, unfortunately, it's impossible to properly screen this.
Could you point and you open your eyes? and
That's why
look?
it's a bad investment. If they had looked at the bylaw, they would have realized that it's impossible to properly screen this, given the area of town it's in. That's my point. It's impossible to screen it. And they should have known that.
If
If
you
you guys
like
had
it-
done your due diligence when you bought it, you'd know that.
If he likes it so much, how would he like it if they did this right next
That's
door
not
to
the,
his
that's not the
house?
point.
Would he like it?
The,
How would you like to look at Atkins solar array? Is it attractive to you?
That's in Amherst.
Well, Amherst is coming into this town, in case you don't know.
So, on the basis of the bylaw, I just don't see any reason to discriminate against a corporate owner versus a farmer owner.
Again, exactly, you can't, but it's your interpretation of the bylaw, Bill. I agree with you completely on that. It's not the fact that Eversource is a corporation, it's just the fact that they cannot comply with the bylaw on this particular parcel.
So it's a discussion about what is quote-unquote adequate screening. And what I'm hearing you say is there is no adequate screening.
That's correct. Not for this particular parcel. If they could bury it underground, then it might be adequate
To
screening.
me, there's adequate screening when they screen right around there. Then they got like, oh, there. That's reasonable.
So are you voting yes or no, Mr. Michkowski?
I want to hear from them. Will they screen it right around? 8-foot screen. Guarantee the trees for a year and maintain it.
Are you talking around your ring or?
Right around the perimeter of it, so nobody can see it from no way. They can't see it from this way, they can't see it from that way, this way, or down this way.
What about? So we're screened from south, the west, the north, and the east, there's existing vegetation.
Right.
So I guess I'm not.
Come back, go right around, follow the whole array right around.
That's all, again, that's all wetland.
Yeah, and this is a wooded area.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's not green, that you can see through.
It butts our other property, the other,
Look.
our 30 acres.
It's not for you to tell me, I'm telling you what I want to see done there. And if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. That's how simple this is.
If you're screening from somebody, that's our property. I guess that's all I'm saying is to the east is all our property. That's all I'm saying.
How can you stop someone from looking through the open space? Because you own the property, you can't stop somebody from seeing through that.
The only person who could speak to that was Mr. Earl because he's at a higher topography. That's why we met with him and we looked.
That's
at the-
because his got a higher
Yeah,
he
so
has
he has
area.
the most view.
I'm not
Trees
talking
aren't
about
working
that.
for him.
That agreement he made, he is satisfied, that's fine. That's fine with me. But over here to the north, they still can look straight down here and see the solar array. And I don't know, on this road here, when these lose the foliage on the trees, because they're not green trees, they're trees with leaves on.
So, Mike, is there an environmental reason why we could not plant there?
This is the wetland, this is
Oh,
the
wetland.
buffer, yeah, this is the wetland, under the local, wetlands bylaw, we, have to have a 35-foot no disturb buffer.
That goes the same for your fence.
I really think you just picked a bad place to think you could put a solar field in. You didn't see what the potential problems were here.
So basically, the fence is outside of that 35-foot no disturb area. We actually, for some of the plantings, for example, down here, in order to extend that, that was a variance that we had to go for the Conservation Commission to be able to plant.
I don't see why you cannot, if you can put the fence in a 35-foot setback, you can plant trees in that same setback. And put the fence,
Correction, the fence is not in the 35-foot setback.
what is it in?
It's about 40 feet.
About 40 feet? Then plant the trees right next to it. And then you're still within 35 feet of the wetlands. You do that, you agree to maintain it, you put 8-foot trees right around it, then my vote is yes.
We did go back and add screening and get approval from the conscom from your original request.
I don't care where you gotta go to do it. Wherever you gotta go. That's the stipulation.
Yeah, here's the 35-foot setback right in here.
You don't have to go all that way. Your solar array stops short, you cut that whole leg off and come back, and then follow the fence.
That provides the visual screen from the north, that row of trees.
It
up
doesn't
like that.
cut, no, because if you
It's
look
limited
here,
from seeing it from Moody Bridge Road and straight to the north.
past the brook to the northeast, you can see this whole solar array. And when you pass Kellogg's house, right here, you look due, well, it would be south, in a southerly direction, you can see this whole solar array here. This, with the way you got that, will stop it at the junction of Moody Bridge, South Maple. And then if you look straight in a line like that, you'd see the tip of that other leg off Moody Bridge Junction. The way the crow flies, straight in, right like this. So if someone stops at that, they're gonna be able to see the far corner from this intersection. Look at Jim, right here,
Let's see what you're saying.
from here to here.
Okay, so from what I understand, again, Bill Landry from Eversource, you would vote yes if we agreed to put that into the permit as a condition, that we would plant all along that northeast side. And encompass the solar facility 360 degree and plant.
John,
as you requested.
can you show us exactly where you want, where you're saying you want the trees?
Follow the fence. Very simple.
So you're talking that tip,
Cut that way back down to the fence, come down here, right there's the fence.
Stop
Cut
that.
across there and then go right around and,
so you're talking going across and around?
no, they can't cross that, can they?
This is all wetland.
So you're talking just
Can
going?
they cross that?
No, that's
So
why.
They
you're-
can go around
So you're
the
talking
fence.
following this loop all
Right.
the way around,
Yep,
like this?
right, not a triple row, single row, probably 6 feet on center, because they'll fill right in.
So stop, get rid of this,
Right,
and then just follow the fence line
exactly.
like that.
Then, no one's gonna complain they can't see it from the road or what. And if they fly over with a helicopter, that's too bad, that's their problem. And, you know, an 8-foot tree and to maintain it and guarantee it for 1 year.
8 foot, because everything else is 6 foot.
Huh?
Oh, you're there?
How high are the solar panels?
They're about 7 feet.
That's to the, from the ground, from the road, looking straight out the road, to the top of those, the solar panels.
They gotta have a cut you over someplace.
What's the height?
In the plan set, I think if you look at.
From the
They
elevation of the
gotta have,
road.
they gotta have a plan someplace, you're gonna look it up. They gotta have that view somewhere. It should be toward the back.
I'm sorry, it's about 8 feet to the back of the panel, according to the diagram.
What is it?
Plus or minus
8,
8.
right here.
8 feet?
It's just the height of the fence.
What is that?
That's gonna be the,
But what's the elevation from looking out at the road? From the road,
so that,
is the elevation of that road higher than that
Here's-
field? It's gotta be.
Oh.
It's fairly close.
You see my point? This is a place where they cannot fulfill the requirements of the bylaw as you see it.
That's the height of the back of the panel.
8 feet.
8 feet, okay.
So,
The road is about 10, 12 inches higher than the site. And that's it.
what is do you see the elevation of the road and the
He just told you, the
He just
road's,
said the road's about a foot higher.
The crown of the
than
road
field.
is 10 or 12
About a-
inches.
The road's about a foot higher than the field.
But for sure, if there are 8-foot trees here going by here, they're not gonna see that. 'Cause you're not, you're in a car, so if they're 8 foot and you're a foot higher, that's 7 foot. If you're a foot up here, that this only makes it 7 foot across. So you still, you would,
147, 147, 148. It's anywhere from a foot to level to maybe a foot and a half.
yeah, but I mean, driving by here, you're gonna be sitting in a car or a truck. You're not gonna be sitting 8 feet up off the ground, right?
Right, yeah.
So an 8-foot tree would hide all that.
Okay.
General's all taken care of on that end, so that's no problem with that.
Want to go back to the one we were just looking at with all the, where the shows us the solar field with the wetlands? Yeah, yeah. Yep, that one right there, right. Is that a condition you want to agree to, or do you want to go back and review it if you want and come back to us? Okay. So we will take no vote, and we'll continue this hearing until, well, you want to be back here in 2 weeks or 6 weeks?
I tell you, one thing I want to tell you, you can come back in 2 weeks, a week, a month. I'm not changing my mind.
I'm not asking them to change their mind. They're looking to go back to see if they can agree to that, that's all.
We also have to approve the Conservation Commission, so they did agree to it on other portions, so.
so is that 6:20?
I think so. 6:20.
Yep,
So
okay.
2 weeks from tonight at 6:20, so you want to continue the hearing, this meeting till 6:20? Okay.
I just want to clearly understand, so if we decide that that's a viable option and we get permission from the Conservation Commission to do the planting, you will vote yes? Or you-
Absolutely,
Just want to make sure I understand
yeah.
where you're coming from.
What I'm saying now is what I'm gonna say when you come back,
Okay.
all right? When they coming back, 6:20?
6:20.
2 weeks.
Okay. Continue to then. Thank you. All right. Next one is the Shady Lawn Estates for definitive subdivision approval. And we were looking for a few conditions of the,
Okay, I am not participating in this one, but I will take notes.
okay,
So you wanted a letter from the fire chief,
we
which
got that,
he should have given you, and I just gave you a copy of.
yes.
You wanted,
What
Joe
does the-
wanted,
What does the fire chief say?
The fire chief says, I have two planning board dated May 9th, I have reviewed the submitted plan for site plan approval dated October 17, 2016 of the proposed Shady Lawn Estates definitive subdivision plan. I have reviewed the site, roadway dimensions, turnaround, and location of hydrants in relation to the proposed subdivision, and find that the plan as proposed is acceptable to the fire department. Signed, Michael Spankenable.
Thank you.
Okay, that was item number 1. Item number 2, Joe wanted to see a driveway cross-section and drainage. So what, I've got a driveway cross-section, 12 inches of compacted gravel minimum. This is only going to be serve one house. It doesn't need to be 18 inches. And the road, I have it pitched to the north, and on the side of it will be stone-filled swale, which we've used in the past for projects similar to this. So it's basically a leach field for the water to run off the roadway and into that. And then you want
The covering.
the covering.
So you got compacted gravel, what kind of covering?
Oh, okay.
Bituminous concrete?
Yeah, we got 1.5 binder and 1.5 finish.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Binder, 1.5 and finish, 1.5. Okay.
Okay.
Which way is this whole road pitched, Randy?
Toward the
Out to
north.
street?
No.
Toward the north.
Towards Kosher Drive.
Kosher, that way.
The whole road is not pitched back
No,
this way?
it's gonna be pitched back this way and then over this way, so the drainage ends up in this heavy black line right here. That's the drainage swale I'm talking about, which is this stone lined, fabric wrapped.
Yeah, and that's gonna run from this point to that point?
Yes.
How far away from the road is that?
A foot.
No, from the main road. There will be absolutely no spillover of water going on the road?
The road has to come, you drain it from Middle Street, it's gotta come down so that it does not drain onto Middle Street. We cannot put any water into the town roadway.
Right.
So there'll be backward pitch till we get to here, and then this will
So
pitch back
that
way.
water from this apron is gonna head that way?
Yeah. Jimmy, you wanted a note on the parcel that Kosher was going to get that said it cannot be further subdivided. I put that on there. And then there is a note somewhere up here in the upper right-hand corner that stipulates that this is going to be, the house shall be single-family owner occupied only, with no accessory apartment allowed, home office shall be allowed, home business shall not be allowed.
That was fine, right.
And I went through the bylaw to make sure that I understood that home office is just me and my family, and home business is I can bring in employees, and I know you didn't want the ability to bring in employees. So
Okay.
that should cover that concern. And I believe that was everything.
Okay.
So just for the audience and for the new people on the board, we do have wiggle room with subdivision regulations. And unlike the bylaws that are sometimes very rigid and dictate to us what we can or cannot do, section, well, it's 81R in the state statute, but in Appendix D in our subdivision regulations, it does give us the ability to change the dimensions of the road, the width. But Randy has come up with something pretty close to our subdivision road regulations, so it's not just going to be some gravel thrown on top of the grass. So that was my concern. And we couldn't prevent it because once the Zoning Board of Appeals did allow that house to be built there, it qualified for a subdivision. So our hands were tied once the ZBA made that decision. So the question would boil down to is, do we put a full subdivision road with a cul-de-sac, which I feel would be not prudent but only a punishment for something which we had no control over. So that's why I'm in favor of what Randy has presented before us.
That was eloquent, Dr. Zagrodnik.
Other comments from anybody? Questions?
Say,
Hey, got any questions or
well, I
comments?
don't know what the hell he said.
He said Joe did a good job.
Okay, that's good.
All right, ready for a motion? Are we ready for a motion?
Shoot it.
All right.
You can put that in the minutes.
Let's see. Let's see, motion to approve the definitive subdivision. The project satisfies the general purpose of Mass General Laws, Chapter 41, Section such and such, subdivision control law, and complies with the Town of Hadley subdivision regulations, except as waived herein. The layout detail, called Shady Lawn Estates, revised 2015 by 17. Because of the small scale of the subdivision, the planning board determined that it is in a public interest and not inconsistent with the intent and purpose of the subdivision control law to waive strict compliance with the Hadley subdivision regulations to the extent necessary to allow construction as shown on the reference plans as provided in Mass General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 81R. The following waivers are approved: no streetlights, no sidewalks, right-of-way reduced to 30 feet, pavement of way reduced to 16 feet. That didn't change, right, Randy?
Pavement did not change,
Okay,
and the right-of-way did not change.
okay. The planning board placed the following conditions: that this parcel A conveyed is to be kosher, to parcel A to be conveyed to Mr. Kosher is not to be further subdivided, so noted on the plan. No more than one dwelling unit may be constructed on each lot, and no lot hereby approved shall be further subdivided for the purpose of constructing additional dwellings. The property, the building shall be owner occupied. I think that says owner occupied. Single-family dwelling. I'm going to read some of Mr. Dwyer's notes here. I thought I wrote that. And no accessory apartment, nor a home business is permitted, but, I mean, a home office is permitted, home business is not. Is that the way it's worded? Yes, okay. The layout of ways and the municipal services provided to this subdivision have been designated for one lot only, and approval accordingly is limited to that number of lots as shown on the submitted plans. It is understood that they agreed that the roadway has been designated and will be constructed in a manner which will render it unacceptable to the town of Hadley as a town way. And the roadway will not be presented to town meeting for acceptance. The town of Hadley will have no obligation for maintenance of the way. All infrastructure, paving, grading, snow, ice removal, care of drainage structures, and/or of the utility shall be the responsibility of the developer and/or neighborhood association created for that purpose. The applicant will cause a sign to be posted at the intersection of the subdivision way and the adjacent public way, identifying the subdivision way as a private way. This approval is subject to approval of other boards if and as required, including but not limited to Hadley Conservation, Hadley Sewer Commission, Hadley Water Commissioners, Board of Selectmen, state agencies, including the Mass Environmental Policy Unit Act. Any project changes directed by other boards or agencies must be approved by the planning board. Depending upon the nature of the changes required by others, it may become necessary to reopen the public hearing. The subdivision approval shall not become effective until a notice of decision is rendered reference to the original subdivision plans and separately recorded in the Hampshire Registry of Deeds, and the applicant and engineer certify the conditions set forth are noted. Copies then are originally signed by the planning board, the building inspector, zoning enforcement, or the town clerk. And that is the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Mike already seconded it. Is there anything to do with the aquifer recharge area?
No, because it must comply with the aquifer recharge, but there's no special permit required because of the residence. but he's gotta comply with the size of the lot, which he does.
I know, I'm gonna make a note on the roadway that it is private, I haven't done that yet. And then also, I believe we talked about the address being a Middle Street address, not, and I don't know if that's anything you guys need to be concerned with.
No, that's Tim.
We noted that on a lot of our very small I mean, yes, I don't think we particularly need to note that on this. That's really a Tim zoning thing, I'm not a zoning thing, a building inspector and a fire police thing so that they know. I understand the concern because we've got this single street in the middle of nowhere and you hear the plant, you read about it and the poor fire department or the ambulance.
You're gonna have a number for E911.
Right, and they go look, I mean, it's got a valid number of, let's say, 10 Shady Lawn, and where the heck is 10 Shady Lawn? And if it's, you know, a number coinciding with Middle Street, it makes much more sense from a emergency response point of view. We don't have a problem with that, because it makes sense for that reason.
You have to change the number in front. What's the number of this one? 132? It might be 132A, 132B,
Right,
you know?
There's an opening, I think.
Yeah, as long as there's an opening, you just got, if not, you're gonna do some renumbering of the house that he's gonna pay for, like you've done.
I'm sure 130 is available.
Right, okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0 with one abstention.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think we're gonna put a solar farm on this.
Good idea.
Why didn't you tell me that before you started? You would have seen a different ballgame.
I saw enough different ball game.
You seen enough?
How many, do you want any of these now, Jimmy?
For
the record, because that's what we.
Maybe one, just one.
You want those now, you want them, please?
The assessors will want one, won't they?
They'll want it once we get it.
They want it once you get everything done on it.
There's the appeal period we gotta wait for and all that, so once town clerk tells me that it's clear, I'll get her to sign it and I'll bring it back, or whatever.
Motion to approve the minutes, Jim?
Wait a minute, yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff to approve here.
Have a good
You're
night.
gonna type this up?
Good night.
Dwyer?
Yeah.
See you, Randy.
Okay.
I'll still certify that that was the vote that was taken.
Okay. We have minutes to approve. We'll go for that one first.
So, do you have the Eversource file?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna shove this in.
Okay, we have the Eversource file. That's Eversource, okay, you got those. Okay, we have minutes to approve. I had to print them out because I didn't get to my computer today.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 7th, April 4th, and May 2nd, 2017.
Okay, motion a second,
There
all in
was- there was
favor?
one typo on the March 7th one. Test pits have been dug, it just should have been dug.
I like dog myself. Dog dig.
Dog is cool.
So there should have been 5, were there 4 or 5?
I just had 3. Were there others printed out?
March 21.
I must have missed those.
Which one did you get?
March 7th, April 4th,
March 21, right?
March 2nd. Oh, I didn't see them all.
I got March 21.
Okay, well, I withdraw the motion, and you make a motion to approve them all.
So,
Make a motion to approve
4, what's the next one?
I like that one.
You figure the dates out.
4/18 and 5/2. 5/2. 5/2. Yeah.
4/4, 4/18.
3/7 and 3/21.
And March 21.
Correct.
Okay.
Up to May 2nd.
Yeah. So there are
Okay.
5 of them.
Motion,
Michikowski, second Sarzinski.
Yes.
all in favor? Any discussion? All in favor? Except
Aye.
for the- Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we also have, let's see,
Payroll.
payroll, where did I put it? Where did I put it? I made one out. That's not,
You sure that's not it?
no, because I filled one out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here it is. Motion to approve payroll for our second quarter from April to June 2017.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
It'd be best if that goes directly to the accountant's mail slot,
Oh, accountant, not the treasurer?
not the treasurer.
Okay. And then we have an invoice to the Daily Hampshire Gazette for legal notices totaling $389.48 for tap room, large-scale solar. Okay, tap room and large-scale solar, two different legal ads.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Then we have, that's for the next quarter. We have, this is the one we talked about for a reserve fund transfer so that we could actually buy a scanner, which would be used, shared and used by the planning board, the building inspector, highway department, anybody else that would need an access to a scanner, so we could scan our drawings in and they could scan their drawings in, et cetera. And it is for $7,600 to buy a scanner.
So is it
And-
coming out of our budget, or is
No,
it?
it's coming, they're taking a reserve fund transfer and moving it into the planning board so it could be paid out of the planning board budget. So this is an addition to our budget for this fiscal year. And they've asked that we sign this.
So do we have the support of the building inspector and the highway department?
The building inspector is tickled that we're getting this. I
Well,
asked him about this.
Maybe should ask half of it to come out of his budget.
It's not coming out of his, it's coming out of the town budget.
I know. I'm
Nobody's
just
budget.
kidding.
Yeah,
What do you want to do, shortchange them?
yes, he doesn't
Yeah.
want, he's trying to be funny over there. Anyway, so we need a motion for the planning board to have the chairman sign this.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Department requesting transfer.
How big will the scan, Jim?
We'll scan an east side sheet, which is, I forget the exact, but it's the biggest standard drawing that we have in our file.
Perfect.
And it's a color scanner.
How many years are those things good for? Depends how much you use them or what?
Because all it is a light bulb, you replace the light bulb, it's like anything, the light bulb, it's a LED scanner. So I'm assuming that after some period of time, the light bulb burns out, but there's no printing involved, there's nothing but a electronic reading that's done by the light bulb. So as long as the light bulb is working, this thing should be good for years and years and years
Is
because
this
it doesn't print.
Sheet fed or flat, or,
What do you mean, sheet fed or?
I mean, if we take a 10-page plan, we take the staples out, will
You-
it draw
one at
it
a time,
through?
One at a time.
Okay, so you have to
It's-
lift the
it's-
lid.
it's-
and-
It's a, you feed them in,
Okay.
or one at a time, so it's gotta do a single, it's scanned, okay, it'll scan single page at a time, but it could be, in theory, an endless, as long as it's within the width of the unit, the drawing could be 10 feet long.
Okay.
It's just a matter of what your computer's gonna see when you,
Can you stack those on like you do a regular copier and they feed in by themselves?
That's what I meant by sheet
I
fed.
don't, well, I don't think so. I think they've always got to be fed in manually, one at a time. Any scan,
But when you scan it, what's that put it on?
electronic,
Yeah, is it a sensitive
it'll
paper?
scan it to a computer,
No.
and typically it scans to what they
This is
call a
not printed.
PDF. So if you go to Adobe Acrobat on your computer, anybody with Adobe Acrobat, which is a free download, can read these drawings. It'll scan, I think, up to 4 different or 5 different major types, but the most common one is PDF, and the one that I'm looking at, PDF is one of the multiples that it'll do. And if you have, let's say,
Wasn't
an
that-
AutoCAD, you could actually scan this directly into AutoCAD because the computer and the scanner would talk back and forth.
Can you read it on an iPad?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
I've been having trouble, maybe my iPad can.
Well, don't forget, some of these drawings are huge in memory.
Yeah.
They got a lot of big megabytes. Some of them are not uncommon to have 15, 20 megabytes, depending on the detail. And sometimes that just overloads the iPad. But I've read drawings on my iPhone, okay? Simple ones, maps.
So the one thing that any kind of scanner that you feed stuff in on is that the whatever, the wheels that are grabbing it eventually wear out.
Right.
So that'd be the other consumable, but they're minor items.
Yeah, those are the biggest one is the main guts of the scanner, or the main brain of the scanner, is not something that typically wears out. The light bulb, one of the things I did find out is that they make the LED ones now, which last a lot longer than the old fluorescent lights or halogen lights.
So are we getting a computer and a hard drive as part of this?
That's what I'm looking at right now, because it was the $7,600 was more than enough to cover the scanner, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to cover a computer. It would probably cover a hard drive if we attached it to a computer, because those things aren't expensive.
Yep.
But I think $7,600 is, depending on the price of the scanner, it might be cutting it close to get a computer.
Yeah, there may
with
be maybe something surplus at town hall or at the school that we could.
Well, the other thing, if we get, I have no problem connecting one of my laptops to it for now.
Mm-hmm.
And next year, in our budget, we try to get a laptop of, a good laptop cost you $500.
Yep.
At least if we got this is this one, this is a huge, I mean, I'm sure we could even use the, actually, I think this thing scans to a, what you call it?
USB.
This scan might scan to a USB. Some of them do.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll figure that out.
I believe that's all I have.
Let's see. Discussion topics. I think that actually has been addressed. The viewscape protection.
We already talked to
That's
Larry
really
about.
what we blended into what Larry's going to be looking at.
That was
for
about
us.
what we said about the solar array of viewscapes and everything else as far as getting into the master plan. So Larry's going to get some information on us.
It was supposed to be on the agenda to waive the site plan peer review for the fire station.
And I forgot to put that on.
And the reason I asked that, because the same guy that does the peer review for us, Berkshire Design, is designing the system. And I have talked to him, I says, do you have a problem? He says, and I says, because you do peer review and because you work with the board all the time, I can't see you putting something together for a town project that's not gonna work. And I had estimates between $3,000 and $5,000. We're right now $800,000 short with everything has to go in that project. So wherever we can save some money, that's what I'm trying to do.
So there are two things they can do. One, I can just put it on the next agenda. Or two, we can just take it up when the application is filed. You'd rather know in advance, probably.
Right.
Okay.
I just, I want to get everything done that needs to be done, so when it comes into the planning board, everything is clean, there's no delays, and everything else, we can move forward.
Okay. I will try to remember to put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
You can remind me.
Good. Right. Sounds like a plan.
I have nothing else.
I have nothing else.
That's it.
Motion to adjourn?
Adjourning at 6:45.
6:45. 9:21. 9:20. That's what that says. Motion to adjourn. We have a second?
We've been in a time warp.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is history. Thank you, and thank you, TV5.